Alright, so you're thinking about moving to LA and you want to know how. Well, in this video we're going to talk about exactly that, the moving process and some pitfalls to avoid while you're getting here, everything you need to know about shipping your stuff, making new friends, finding a new place to live, and you're going to want to stick around until the end because I'm also going to tell you how to save money here and how much you'll need to move here. Let's get after it. Hey, if you're new to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, working, eating, sleeping, playing, the good and the bad of living in Los Angeles, make sure you tap that subscribe button, click that little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. My name is Horstman, local real estate agent here. I get calls, texts, emails from people moving to LA and relocating here, and I love it. If you're thinking about moving or relocating, make sure you reach out to us, give us a call, shoot us a text, send an email, and I'm happy to help you make a smooth move to Los Angeles. So the first thing I would recommend to do before moving to LA is to calculate costs. What's it going to cost to move here? Are you moving from the Midwest, the East Coast, a neighboring state, out of the country? The further you are away, typically the more expensive it costs. And I'm not talking about just moving costs, I'm also talking about the cost of being far from your current network of people. But in terms of moving costs, I'll give you an example of how I figured out costs. So I moved from Washington, D.C., very far. And D.C. and L.A. are similar in that people move there to do something or work a job or chase a dream, and many leave after a couple of years. So the first thing I looked at was shipping costs and flight costs. So I decided to ship about 6 big boxes of stuff, which cost about $100 to $150 a box. Check on USPS and UPS because the costs can be different. I was lucky enough to find a one-way flight from DC to LA for $99. It was during COVID, so the flights were cheap. I checked about 6 bags. Then most of my other stuff I sold on Facebook Marketplace or donated. If you have more stuff than you can ship or travel with, there are many companies that ship stuff like U-Haul or other moving companies. Make sure to get several quotes as companies charge a lot more. Some companies charge a lot more for the same service. If you're adventurous, you could also just rent a U-Haul and load and ship stuff yourself. When my brother moved here, he and his girlfriend made a road trip out of it, stopping at cool attractions and national parks along the way, so that's an option. If you have a car, you can ship it, but know that it's expensive and you will likely need to get your car smog tested when you're here. California has very strict pollution laws, and Los Angeles in particular is polluted. So you can ship or drive your car, but make sure to get it registered as soon as possible in California. After that, of course, you need to think about where you'll be living. I started using Facebook and finding roommate groups and interviewing with people. There are a lot of groups. You can find rooms to rent starting at about $1,000 or finding your own apartment, starting with studios at like $1,500. I moved in for a few months with a friend from the same fraternity in a California chapter. So think about groups you belong to now and think about how you might be able to transfer your connection out to LA. That could be social groups or religious or alumni groups, sports clubs. Somehow you'll be able to find a connection here. And even if you don't, you can reach out to some local groups here and explain that you're looking for a room or roommates. I made a video on the top 5 neighborhoods in LA, so be sure to check that out. If you're moving right to an apartment, you'll likely need to use your credit score and proof of employment. So maybe sign an apartment before you quit your job, or if you're a remote worker, even better. You can also start in a shared house situation until you're working, and then it'll be easier to have documentation ready for rental applications. It's never easy making friends in a new city. You really have to put yourself out there. It also depends a lot on your age. If you're early to mid-20s and starting with a new company, that's a great situation. It's much easier to make friends. Most people are single and want to socialize. If you're in your 30s or older, it can be more difficult. Many people are in established long-term relationships and their social lives are a bit less important, especially if they have kids. That's a little different here because Los Angeles has such a free spirit attitude. There's all kinds of groups. People here are also in different stages of life, all kinds of stages. I recommend joining some groups. Whatever you're into, sports, social, hiking, art, pottery, everything's here. And there's tons of meetups as well, meetup groups. If you're looking for business connections, reach out to people on LinkedIn and Bumble Biz. This is a networking city, so if you put in the effort, you will start making connections. There are people here trying to do almost exactly what you are. The last thing I'll talk about is insurance. Health insurance is on par with the rest of the country, really expensive. If you don't have employer-sponsored coverage, you'll use Covered California to select plans depending on your eligibility. Now, car insurance is a bear here. I had an insurance guy say, there's not a car in Los Angeles worth less than $5,000. And that's pretty true. Driving around, you'll see Lamborghini SUVs, Mercedes, BMW, Maserati. Expect to pay about 50% more for car insurance. It is crazy. So that's a breakdown of how to move to Los Angeles. More content coming soon. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments or just tell me your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're thinking about moving here, reach out and let's chat. I'd love to help you or you and your family find the perfect place to live in Los Angeles. Comment below if you've been to Los Angeles, and I'll answer any questions you have. I'll continue doing lots of videos, so make sure to subscribe, hit that little bell so you know when new videos are coming out. Make sure to click the link below as well for my free guide to moving to LA for everything you need to know before moving here.